Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record every Mondays at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time. If you enjoy the channel, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on and you will get an email link with this full episode. And if you want to submit to this show, take a look at the information in the description. 2-5 Hollywood Hard Rock. This is a 1K cap.
Effective stacks are 1465. I cover.
1465. Okay. 1465 effective. Okay.
Yeah, so action limps to a villain. He's an older man in the cutoff.
All right.
And it goes full to him and he limps in. And I raise my button, ace jack of spades to 25.
So he
completes.
So cutoff open limps. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cutoff open limps. Hero on button to 25. And he calls and your head's up?
Yeah, I open ace jack of spades.
Ace of spades, jack of spades. Okay.
Yeah, and flop is ace jack 10, heart diamond.
Ace jack 10, heart diamond. Do you remember which ones?
Ace of hearts, jack of hearts, 10 of diamonds.
Ace of hearts, jack of hearts, 10 of diamonds. Cut off open limps. You make it 25 on the button, right? He calls, and now you flop top two. Pot is like maybe 55 or 60.
Minus rate gets about 50.
Right. So ace of hearts, jack of hearts, 10 of diamonds. You have ace jack for top two. Now, you want to give a little bit of history because when you wrote this one in?
Yeah. Earlier in the session, he limped a hijack, and I raised button 25, and he called.
Yeah.
And he check raised me. I see bet 30, and he check raised me 130 on a queen jack 7 board.
Okay.
And he shipped, and then he ripped in 750 on a king turn, and he turned over king queen, and I won with a bottom set.
So this is interesting here because this is how sometimes I feel like some historical stuff might not be accurately kind of put into like a frame perspective, or sometimes people think a situation is similar or exactly the same situation to another hand. So what you're saying is that it was queen jack 7, you were the preflop raiser, you flop bottom set, you bet, this guy check raised top pair, which is kind of a little bit out of there anyways, right? After limping in. But then he turned top two, and then he just went but nuts, right? He jammed, right?
Yeah.
Queen jack 7 turns a king. And now he jammed. Okay. So we have that.
Yeah,
we have this.
Yeah, he jammed 750 into about 300.
Okay, so a 2x pot jam. So we have this situation where he will sometimes check raise top pair from out of position, and then he thought he had the nuts and he jammed. Now we get to this spot where you flop top two. Okay, so I'm assuming that he checks here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I see bet 35 into 50.
Okay, that's 35. Yep.
And he check raises me to 260.
All right, so to 260. Now, the interesting part about this, though, too, is that in that king-queen hand, was he like a lot, like pretty much from up front when he had that king-queen hand, like in much earlier position?
Hijack. He open limped hijack.
Okay, so that's not. I mean, it's not because what I was going to say is that normally, even if you have somebody that's like limping in cutoff, something like that, a lot of people are going to raise ace-x here. Like they're going to raise pre-flop ace-x. I'm talking about like ace-5, ace-6.
I don't think he has an opening range.
You just think he
only has a limping range.
You think he just limps everything? He just like limps 100 basically.
I've played with him a few sessions, and I can't recall a time he's raised.
All right, so then it's totally all right. So then obviously he has all the king queens here, right? But the question is that like, is he really raising 260 with like ace-6 offsuit here as protection? I think it's a little bit different. King queen on queen jack 7 is still a high kicker, and people will make that raise with top pair when they think their hand is slightly vulnerable to like ace king, but you see it less often on an ace high board. What I'm saying is that this doesn't represent just an ace to me. So I don't think that we can just be like, oh, king, queen, he did it before. This could just be an ace. Like, I don't think it's
Right.
quite the same thing. Two pair plus, sure. All combinations of king, queen. Normally, a guy that doesn't have an opening range usually isn't going to be raising a whole lot of draws post flop because he kind of fits into that type of player, right? I mean, we don't necessarily know, but I find that
Right.
interesting as well.
The few times I've seen him put significant amounts of money into the pot,
Yeah.
they've been with relatively nutted hands. I think that King Queen was
Mhm.
probably the weakest I've ever seen him put money in.
I mean, here's the thing. So I would just continue here. I would continue with a call and then sort of react to what the turn brings out and what his sizing is. I mean, I think that you could just bet fold ace king, ace queen, right? Things like that.
Hmm.
Maybe even like jack 10, but top two is probably a little bit too strong. You know, you kind of
Right.
continue with your sets, continue with ace 10 would be interesting, but I'm not folding ace jack. See what he does on the turn with what blanks, and then kind of count what you think that he could be overplaying on the turn. So you call, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. I called the 260 check raise.
So now the
Pot is
pot
570.
570. Okay. Yep.
Hmm. And the turn is a 7 of clubs. And he just rips it in for 1180.
So he's overbetting the pot 2x here on the turn, basically, right?
Yeah, about.
So you have that hand with the king queen where he did the same thing, but then he felt
Hmm.
like he got nutted, right? I mean, here's the thing: like this guy's check raise with that king queen on queen jack 7. I don't think he's going to jam the turn when he doesn't hit a king on the turn. So he feels like he's nutted here. You said he doesn't have an opening range, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I don't know if he's ever limp re-raise hands, but you're blocking like pocket aces, pocket jacks. But that means he could have tens here. All 16,
Right.
16 combos of king queen. So that's like, three sets of 10, 16 combos of king queen is like 19. And then what are the hands that he's overplaying? I guess like ace 10 for a jam. I mean, that would be what, like there's two aces
There's,
left. That would be like six combos, and then another
and I
six
think
combos of
maybe
jack
ace
10.
king or ace queen if he feels that I was pretty aggressive that session, and he might have had it out for me. So he might have been overvaluing ace king and ace queen.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. It's tough to say because in the sense that it seems weird that a guy would play the nuts this hard, and you
Hmm.
should probably have some hands to call with here. Ace jack, probably one of the stronger hands to call with, right? Like, I mean, you'd like to have pocket tens here, right? Or
Yeah,
and then him
that
having
would
like
be
all the,
ideal.
yeah, then him having like all the other types of like two pair, types of hands. But I mean, I've made folds like this before. I don't think
Yeah.
that a guy like this is going crazy with just jack 10 and an ace 10. And it doesn't seem like somebody that doesn't have an opening range is going to play a lot of draws like super fast. I mean, listen, you're getting like 1.5 to 1, right? You have to get 40%. It just seems like you need 40%, right? With one card to come. Obviously, you do have some equity if he has king queen because you've got, four outs, but you probably need to find he probably needs to have at least half as many hands that aren't king queen here, or there has to have half as many hands. Say he's got 20 combinations of thick value, right? You basically need to find
Yeah.
like 10 combos of hands that you beat, and I don't know if we find that here. I think is basically what I'm saying.
I'm thinking again, maybe ace king or ace queen. That would put me up there, but
Uh-huh.
that might have been me being optimistic.
And then he could have what, like queen 10 of hearts, king 10 of hearts, queen 9 of hearts, 8 9 of hearts, something like that.
Yeah,
The ace is
I
a heart
suppose
though,
so.
right? Because sometimes you'll see guys
Yes.
go nuts with like the top pair and a flush draw. But if the ace is a
Yeah.
heart, so what did you end up
No,
doing?
the ace was a heart. I ended up tank folding.
Uh-huh.
I thought I wasn't comfortable calling off in such a big pot.
And then did you ever find out what he had?
No, but he just immediately pointed at me and said he wasn't done with me.
That he wasn't
I
done
guess
with
he
you?
just, yeah, he said I still owed him.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he also called clock on me after like a minute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
8 9 is another hand people are saying that I mean, again, I don't know how often I see somebody who doesn't have an opening range like play aggressive post flop with draws, but that's
Yeah.
definitely an interesting one. I mean, it's highly sort of exploitable, but it's probably not giving away like too much. I think either way, whether it's a call or a fold without like more information, because you usually just don't see it. I don't think it's that big of a mistake. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.